Emma was taking a bath in the lake when she suddenly felt a weird sensation down below. She looked down and saw the water around her was actually turning red. Staring at her wet hands, she had absolutely no idea this was her first period. A painful scream echoed through the air, making David think his friend was in trouble, so he frantically ran over. But when he got there, he found Emma curled up in the water. He was about to get closer, but Emma snapped at him, yelling at him to get away. David was completely lost, unable to understand why the usually sweet Emma was acting so defensive. But once he knew she wasn't in danger, he decided to back off. Still feeling uneasy about it, David went back to figure out what actually happened. To him, bleeding meant one thing: getting hurt. So he offered to check her wound, but this was way too private, and Emma shut him down instantly. At that moment, David felt totally betrayed. They had been surviving on this deserted island, sharing absolutely everything. And now, it felt like a massive wall had been built between them. David stormed off, leaving Emma frozen, with zero ways to explain what was going on. That single event created the very first crack in their relationship. Later on, David spotted a massive ship. Thinking they finally had a way off the island, he sprinted back to tell Emma the news. But as he was sharing the update, he realized Emma already knew the ship had passed by, and she didn't even seem to care. They could have easily been rescued by just lighting a signal fire on the hill, but she chose to hide it from him. David was already hurting from what happened before, and this pushed him over the edge, so he decided to chase the ship all by himself on a raft. Meanwhile, Emma was just chilling on a tree branch, watching his clumsy attempts. She couldn't help but laugh out loud. When David made it back, he threw away every single thing that reminded him of Emma. Emma was furious at this cold move, which led to them living separately. However, David definitely handled the wild better than Emma did. David never had to worry about food or clothes, while Emma was out there struggling to find her next meal and a fire to stay warm. Then she accidentally stepped right on the back of a stonefish, and a crazy sharp pain almost made her wipe out. But this time, she didn't call for help. The next time David saw her, he found Emma burning up with a fever, curled under a blanket, unable to move. David completely freaked out. He felt super guilty, thinking his own anger caused her to get sick, so he immediately carried her back to the cabin to rest. With him taking care of her around the clock, Emma slowly got her energy back. They both realized just how much they meant to each other, and naturally, they became closer than ever. Then, Emma started showing signs of pregnancy, and since they had zero experience, they just let nature take its course. Soon after, their first baby was born. But being totally clueless first-time parents, faced with the baby's upset face, the young mom was completely lost and could only hold him tight against her chest. To her surprise, this natural reflex was exactly what the baby needed to find his way to nurse. This totally blew the dad's mind, realizing this is how newborns are actually fed. Before long, this little guy was already splashing around in the ocean, but this peaceful life was suddenly shattered. A sailboat appeared right near the island, meaning rescue was finally here, but their reaction was shockingly calm. Without saying a word, they both stood up and turned their backs to the boat. Meanwhile, William ordered his crew to sail to another island to keep looking for his missing son. Little did he know, the young man who was now a father was the exact child he had been desperately searching for. This separated father and son just crossed paths like ships in the night, without a single clue, and just like that, this family went right back to their quiet life.